Hi everyone, this is Skywatch Media News for the second week of January 2019. Here's what's happening. The world is ringing in the new year with signs that portend of the end times. For some, the indicators are dubious, but for many others, the belief that the earth is heading towards an apocalyptic end holds real meaning. Indeed, this is a challenging and fearful time in which to live. It's full of mystery and uncertainty for millions of people across the planet. But will the signs that usher in the beginning of 2019 become true harbingers of upheaval? As difficult as these signs may be to interpret, they do spark much interest and curiosity all across the world. Those who accept divine scripture and have studied its doctrine are committed to the belief that signs will appear in the latter days that will fulfill the words of scripture. One of the signs that seems to lack any acceptable explanation involves the waters turning red. Clerics know of its meaning, of its implications, and what it represents. But for the secular world, it is only a fable, the mere words of mortal men who desire to place fear in the hearts of a gullible society. So this was their talking point. This is how they would convince the world that the words of Scripture would never be fulfilled. That was until the time when strange things began to happen to the rivers, the lakes, and the bodies of water around the world, when they began to mysteriously and suddenly change to a hue of deep red. There is a lot of scientific theories and speculations surrounding this mystery, various attempts to explain a phenomena without having to resort to the scriptures for answers. So this is the way of the world, and yet the waters turning red is a disconcerting phenomenon that is being documented around the world, and it's been happening for several years. And so it remains a biblical phenomenon that most Christians are familiar with as the word of prophecy. In the waning days of 2018, two rivers suddenly turned red. One was located in Malawi, East Africa, and another in New Guinea in Indonesia. Separate events that shocked local residents who rely on the water from these rivers for their home use. The same phenomena took place in central Java in November of 2018, where another river turned blood red. The blood-red water flowing in the rivers is disconcerting, but like similar stories of unusual phenomena, the information is often conflicting. Some locals said the rivers were tainted by iron oxide, while others believed it was dyed by blood. One thing is for certain, something is happening to bodies of water, whether by nature or unnatural forces, and it looks as though these events will continue to inexplicably take place. There is another sign that occurs in the heavens, often spoken of in religious circles, that is said to be interrelated to the waters turning red, the so-called blood moon or total lunar eclipse that culminates in a supermoon. On January 20th and 21st, the blood moon will appear in the sky. Humanity has observed this phenomena with reverence since the beginning of our existence. What sets the supermoon apart from all other lunar events is the power that it represents. The closer the supermoon is to the Earth, the more intense is the tidal surge it will produce with the waters. It is during this moment that human instincts, feelings, and emotions become more complicated. When the supermoon is combined with the total lunar eclipse, the world ends up with a surge in cosmic forces. Therefore, this type of lunar eclipse symbolizes a beginning or an end in the minds of those individuals who are astute with the forces of nature, and as their suspicions of the blood moon begin to ramp up. No matter where you may live on this planet, when the blood moon rises, it will have a tendency to push you out of your comfort zone. This type of ecliptical event is rare, as it only happens when the sun, the moon, and the earth are perfectly lined up, and the moon will be at its closest perigee to the earth, a distance of 225,000 miles. Is the culmination of the blood moon in some way connected to the waters turning red? Some are convinced of its importance in determining the end times. No doubt there was something very strange about the sudden transformation of the water color in the Lagawa River in Indonesia, a river that is situated on the slopes of Mount Slamet. Why would a river that has a greenish hue suddenly turn blood red? If there was any logical, rational explanation for this occurrence, it seems to be missing in the reports that were presented. Blood moons have often been associated with consequential events brought on by the powerful forces of the supermoon. Christians have held steadfast to the significance of celestial events for generations, often relying on passages from the book of Acts as a focal point for their interpretation of the signs. The term blood moon garnered much attention back in the year 2013 when a Christian minister by the name of John Hagee promoted an apocalyptic belief that was brought about by 4 total lunar eclipses that would occur in the years 2014 and 2015. His blood moon prophecy notes that each of these events fell on Jewish holidays, and each of them would be marked by disastrous events. So the blood moon event, as rare as they may actually be, will continue to attract a great deal of interest in the sky. As I've said many times, it's important to set your eyes towards the sky because it will provide insight into the future of our world and all living things that dwell upon the earth. Instead of waiting on how and when our end will come, as envisioned by the words of men who claim to be prophets, wouldn't it be better if we gained a personal fascination of the motion and the complexities of our solar system and galaxy and the ways in which it affects our world? And so, as you look to the sky, remember that nature itself is very arbitrary. It is neither malevolent or benevolent, for it does not know that we exist. And yet everything in this world and in worlds beyond is controlled by an organizing principle, a divine force that has complete dominion and the final say over all life and all things. Its purpose is meaningful, and it does not happen by chance. Thanks for watching.